Falcons general manager Ian Cunningham has been busy in free agency, and the big news, Tua Tagovailoa is now a member of the Atlanta Falcons, which means we have a quarterback competition on our hands. Garrett Chapman alongside to my right, home team to my right, as we continue to talk about the Falcons and their offseason and free agency. But like Ian said, the quarterback competition is officially on, and it's been a lot of question marks during this offseason, what they were going to be doing at quarterback. You know we have Tua, you know you have Michael Penix Jr. potentially coming back for that injury at some point. Who do you want as a starting quarterback in 2020?
For the first time in a while, we all want the same guy. It doesn't matter. Okay. The right answer is whoever wins out the job.
Yep.
That's who you want to be the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. There's no more picking of favorites, handing out the job to somebody just because you paid them X amount of dollars or you brought them in for X amount of reason. You finally get a quarterback competition, and it is great for the organization, great for Kevin Stefanski and his staff, and also great for the fan base because the guy who wins it will earn it, and that way you have a clear-cut winner of going into the future. They both could win it. They both could lose it. One guy could get hurt. The other guy could replace him. Both guys could be good. Both guys could be bad. And then you can go into next offseason looking for a quarterback in the draft. So this is a perfect opportunity to win out a job for the organization, for the coaching staff, and for the fan base this year who desperately needs to figure out if we have a franchise quarterback.
At the end of the day, it's a brand new regime, so they don't have any real connection to Michael Penix Jr. because they didn't draft him. So to me, it feels kind of like it's a little bit different, but the Colts situation where they brought in Daniel Jones, he had to face off against Anthony Richardson for the starting job, and they decided to go with Daniel Jones because he was the guy that was playing better.
I hate it for Michael Penix Jr. He has had a unique introduction to the NFL, but he's been injured. And so because he's been injured, he can't be handed the job. So if he can stay healthy, he'll have the same opportunity that Tua does, and hopefully he gets a chance to prove that he could be the starting quarterback, and there'll be no doubt about it.
And he was a cheap signing as well, $1.3 million on the veteran minimum because the Dolphins are going to pay a whole lot more money just to get him off of the books. Garrett, do you think that helps with the decision? Did you like the move, or would you have rather go after somebody like Kyler Murray who would have been the same price but a different type of player?
I think Tua threads this very particular needle where he's a guy who doesn't come in here and expects to be the starter, but he's going to be somebody who could potentially take those reps. I think that's going to be something that's very valuable for the Falcons because it gives them a little bit of flexibility when it comes to making those kinds of decisions. But look, it's the first quarterback battle at Flowery Branch since 2008, since Matt Ryan was drafted. So,
wow.
Which is a crazy thought to have if you think about it that way. But like you said, they've had a different starting quarterback every year since Matt Ryan retired back in 2000, or he didn't retire, but when he was traded and they moved on from him. And I mean, I think it's going to be a good opportunity for Michael Penix. And as far as like the person you want to win this job, I would like it to be Michael Penix.
Yep.
But if it ends up being Tua Tagovailoa, I think it's going to be a pretty good thing for the Falcons too, because when he is healthy, he's a really good player. You know, he just hasn't been healthy since 2023.
Now, we'll see if he can get back to a Pro Bowl level because Tua had done that. He was a guy that was very accurate and threw the ball a lot. But he seemed to really fall off a cliff over the course of the last couple of years. Obviously, it's been busy. He's not the only signing the Falcons have made over the course of this offseason. They signed a whole bunch of guys. Ian Cunningham saying they wanted to raise the floor of this group and this roster. They brought in guys like Olamide Zaccheaus and Austin Hooper, some guys that have been on this roster, and also some former Georgia Bulldogs, Channing Tindall, as well as Azeez Ojulari. Home team, is there anybody that kind of stood out to you signing-wise? And did you wish they maybe had a more splashy pickup, or do you like what they kind of did?
I'll answer the first question first. No, this is not the reset year. Next year will be, you only have 5 draft picks this year and your money left over from the remnants of Kirk Cousins and his contract. Next year, you're going to have more draft picks, you're going to have more money, and then that's the year you'll find out if you have your starting quarterback or not. So, no, I'm not upset they didn't go out and make a big splash in free agency. You had a good defense last year, but with the James Pierce Jr. situation, your defense needs all the tending to that it needs, plus some of the guys you lost on defense. So I like Azeez Ojulari. Jeff Ulbrich has certainly shown that if you give him good players, he can put them in good spaces, and he did that last year. So anybody who's able to fit in, be a head buster, get the defense in a place on third downs where they're winning, I like that. So hopefully Azeez Ojulari, another Bulldog coming home, hopefully will be one of those guys that's a big surprise.
And that's a guy who set the Giants franchise record for rookie sacks in 2022.
Sure did.
So how about that?
Yeah, we got a guy who did something somewhere else. He's got a record.
Hoping to have some of that productivity here in Atlanta. By the way, I thought it was cool seeing some of that Hooper video throws from Matt Ryan, right? Now he's this new boss. By the way, we also did lose a couple of guys in free agency. The one I want to talk about first is Tyler Algier, the running back, a guy that felt like we saw grow up here in Atlanta when they drafted him out of BYU. Garrett, he is a guy that's headed now to the Arizona Cardinals. Was that part of that 1-2 punch of Bijan Robinson? Will they regret letting Tyler walk?
Not for that contract. I mean, he's making a good bit of money, and good for him. I'm thrilled for him. He's earned every penny that he's going to be making from the Arizona Cardinals. But, $7 million for a backup running back, it's just not feasible here in the NFL. That's just the way it works. And unfortunately for the Falcons, you're going to lose out on a great guy and a guy who had a really defined role here on the Falcons. But that's not a role that you're really going to struggle too hard to replace because the guy is still here. Bijan Robinson is still an Atlanta Falcon, and that's the thing that matters.
I think that's perfectly said. If it was, you keep him for $1 million for another 2 years, obviously you would like to have him. I had a chance to speak to Ian Cunningham Friday, and one of the things I asked him is how he valued the running back position, and he said they did have running backs on the roster, but they will be addressing the running back position. So Bijan Robinson and running back X, certainly we hope will be another 1-2 punch like it was the first time with those two, with Algier and Robinson.
Keep an eye out. A guy like Damon Claiborne from Wake Forest, fantastic option for the Atlanta Falcons. You can get him potentially on day 3. Lots of value in this draft class.
I like from Ian, he talked a lot about the fact that free agency is not over, between being able to still sign some guys and obviously upcoming with the draft, maybe potentially making some trades. They feel like they can find some ways to fill some of these positions. Before we go, we have to talk about Caden Ellis. He is gone. He went back to the Saints. From the Saints, he comes here, then back to the Saints he goes. Home team, you're messing with me with Caden a little bit earlier. Caden Ellis headed to the Saints. Do you think the Falcons will regret that, knowing you'll see him 2 times a year?
Yeah, look, you're going to miss him. He's a solid linebacker. He clearly helped the defense multiple times. He doesn't miss games. So he's a veteran linebacker. He's 31, so he still has tread on the tires. And he's one of those guys that you want to have on your team as a captain. But the truth is, you're not expected to go to the Super Bowl. You wish you could keep him. You don't want him going to the enemy. But the bottom line is there's so many unknowns, and you don't have the money just to give guys who you probably wish you could keep for a little bit more. So you have to tend to your dollar. So it's one of those things where you had to let him go. I hate it. He's good for the team, good for the locker room, but it's just one of those business decisions.
And Jeff Fulbright did say it's going to take 2 guys to replace this guy. They already had 2 guys, Christian Harris and, of course, Channing Tindall. So we'll see.
You like those guys, man.
We'll see.
Guys with some productivity in their past.